Have you ever wondered how you can protect yourself from manipulation in a world where outside influences try to shape your perception and decisions? Discover with us the lesson Stoic that will provide you with the necessary tools to avoid being manipulated. In this video, we will explore 16 principles of Stoicism, inspired by the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, that will empower you to maintain your integrity in the face of emotional and social manipulation. Don't miss this opportunity to strengthen your mind and protect your well-being. Stay until the end and join our community by subscribing to the channel for more life-changing content. Lesson number 1: Deep reflection on derogatory comments. Imagine the moment when you encounter negative comments about your achievements or dreams. Instead of allowing these comments to get to you, engage in deep reflection, applying the Stoic principle of focusing on what is within your control. Always remember that these comments are a reflection more of the sender's insecurities and limitations than of your own self-worth. Use your self-esteem as a protective shield against other people's opinions, keeping your self-confidence intact. Lesson number 2: Prioritize actions over words. Broken promises can say much more about the person making them than about yourself. Therefore, it is crucial to observe actions, since these are the true manifestation of intention and commitment. Instead of building your confidence on empty promises, learn to value and trust those consistent actions that back up the words. Recognize that true trust is founded on consistency and integrity of actions. Lesson number 3: Balance and reciprocity in relationships. It is essential to avoid relationships in which you constantly give without receiving anything in return. Always seek balance and reciprocity in your personal connections, as you deserve to be valued and supported by each other. Recognize your own value and don't be afraid to set healthy boundaries in your relationships, thus ensuring that your efforts and contributions are appropriately recognized and valued. Lesson number 4: Recognize and cope with emotional neglect. Don't allow your feelings and needs to be overlooked or belittled in your personal relationships. Recognize and value your own emotional dignity. You deserve to be in relationships where your emotions are respected, cared for, and valued. Don't ignore signs of emotional neglect. Instead, take steps to establish healthier, more satisfying relationships that foster mutual care and reciprocal emotional support. Lesson number 5: Firmness in the face of emotional manipulation. It is essential to recognize and affirm your power over your own mind and emotions. Firmly confront any attempts at emotional manipulation, setting clear boundaries and prioritizing your emotional and mental well-being. Be alert to manipulative tactics designed to influence your thoughts and feelings, and defend your emotional autonomy with determination. Lesson number 6: Seek and value true support. Don't settle for superficial relationships where support is unilateral or manipulative. Actively seek connections where support is genuine, meaningful, and mutual. Recognize the value of relationships that challenge you to grow, provide you with unconditional support, and help you reach your full potential. Cultivate connections that nourish you emotionally and propel you forward on your path to authenticity and personal fulfillment. Lesson number 7: Reject constant competition. Avoid getting involved in relationships characterized by constant competition and hidden scores. Instead, look for authentic connections based on collaboration, mutual growth, and sincerity. Prioritize building relationships that foster an environment of support, respect, and cooperation, rather than destructive rivalries and harmful comparisons. Lesson number 8: Coping with the absence of support in critical moments. Honestly evaluate relationships in which a lack of support becomes evident during difficult times. Do not worry, confront the absence of emotional support when you need it most. Look for connections where joys are celebrated and adversities are faced together, where support is constant and meaningful. Prioritize the relationships that you toast comfort, encouragement, and strength in the critical moments of your life. If you're enjoying what you've seen so far, I encourage you to show your support by clicking the I like it, which you will find just below. Your support is essential so we can continue bringing you quality content. Lesson number 9: Communicate and cope with lack of reciprocity. It is essential not to settle for unilateral relationships where your efforts are not reciprocated. Address this lack of reciprocity by openly and honestly communicating your needs and setting healthy boundaries in your interactions. Recognize your own value and don't be afraid to defend it, remembering that balanced and mutually satisfying relationships are essential for your emotional and mental well-being. Lesson number 10: Remain alert to betrayal. Always be alert for signs of betrayal in your relationships, as it can erode your confidence and self-esteem. Face any betrayal calmly and firmly, establishing clear boundaries based on your values and self-respect. Remember that you deserve relationships based on trust, respect, and loyalty, and do not hesitate to defend your integrity in the face of any form of betrayal. Lesson number 11: recognize and address selective availability. Don't feel obligated to always be available to others at the expense of your own well-being. Recognize your own value and establish clear boundaries in your relationships, respecting your needs and priorities. Learn to say no when necessary and dedicate time and energy to yourself, without feeling guilty about putting your own limits and needs first. Lesson number 12: resist manipulation through guilt. Do not allow manipulative guilt to dictate your decisions and actions. Learn to recognize when you are being emotionally manipulated and resist giving in to this tactic. Prioritize your emotional and mental well-being over the expectations and demands of others, learning to say no firmly and respectfully when necessary. Remember that having clear limits and maintaining your emotional autonomy are essential to avoid being manipulated in your relationships. Lesson number 13: recognize and cope with lack of personal interest. It is essential to recognize your worth as an individual and seek relationships where your thoughts, feelings, and aspirations are genuinely valued and appreciated. Don't settle for connections where your interests are ignored or belittled, but actively seek those connections that nourish your sense of self-worth and propel you toward emotional and spiritual growth. Lesson number 14: prioritize equitable and deep conversation. Don't limit yourself to being a mere spectator in conversations. Look for relationships where there is an equal exchange of ideas, experiences, and perspectives. Value your voice and actively participate in interactions, fostering genuine and enriching dialogue that promotes mutual understanding and personal growth. Lesson number 15: avoid superficiality in relationships. Reject superficial relationships that lack a deep and meaningful emotional connection. Seek authentic connections rooted in sincerity, mutual respect, and empathy. Prioritize quality over quantity, cultivating bonds that give you a sense of belonging and genuine emotional satisfaction. Lesson number 16: defend your value in the face of continuous disrespect. Don't settle for relationships where your feelings and needs are constantly ignored or belittled. Stand up for your value as an individual and set clear boundaries to protect your emotional and mental well-being. Remember that you deserve to be treated with respect and consideration in all your relationships, and don't hesitate to walk away from those that don't give you the level of respect and appreciation you deserve. In a world where manipulation and superficiality often seem to be rife, it is vital to remember that true power lies in our ability to recognize and defend our self-worth. Each of these lessons guides us toward a path of authenticity and personal empowerment, reminding us that we deserve relationships based on mutual respect, reciprocity, and sincerity. By adopting these principles, Stoics, we arm ourselves with the tools necessary to resist emotional manipulation and stay true to ourselves at all times. Through reflection, conscious action, and setting healthy boundaries, we can cultivate meaningful relationships that enrich our lives and propel us toward lasting personal growth. The moral is clear: by prioritizing our own emotional and mental integrity, we become guardians of our own happiness and well-being. In doing so, we free ourselves from the control of those who seek to manipulate us and rise toward a life of authenticity, wholeness, and genuine connection with others. After exploring these 16 lessons Stoic to avoid being manipulated, do you feel more prepared to protect your emotional and mental integrity in difficult situations? Tell us your reflections and experiences related to this topic in the comments. We would love to hear your point of view and continue growing together on this journey towards self-discovery and empowerment. Remember that your participation is essential to enrich our community. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. We will be happy to continue sharing inspiring and transformative content with you. Until next time, and have a day full of learning and personal growth.